Hello, I'm Bill Carney with ProPlugger, and today we're going to be cutting and planting plugs from sod squares that we purchased from a sod farm. Now there's a couple of ways to get your sod. One is directly from a sod farm, which is what I've done here. Comes in squares similar to this. And the other is to purchase your sod squares over the internet and having them shipped to you. Either way you get your squares, what we're going to cover today will be the same. Now most of the sod suppliers, the plug suppliers, suggest that you cut your sod into little 1-inch by 1-inch squares by hand with a pair of landscape shears or scissors. We're going to be using the ProPlugger Model 200, which, as you'll see in a minute, is much faster and easier with little to no bending over. Here's how we'll do it. I like to turn the piece over and lay it on its face in a section of the bare ground and then work from the back of the sod. I just start at one corner and work my way across, stepping down on the ProPlugger until the foot pegs bottom out against the sod. A slight twist of the handlebars, pull straight up, and you've cut your new plugs. As you pull these plugs, they get stored or stacked up inside the shaft, and you can take a dozen or more before they need to be emptied, which is as easy as just turning the plugger upside down and the plugs will slide right out. Part of what the plugger picked up was not only the sod plugs that we'll plant, but also some of the soil that was underneath the sod, and that's fine. I just quickly separate out the extra soil from the sod plug and then plant the plug. Now we move on to the next step, which is going to be to prepare the area where we'll be planting these plugs. Again, most of the suppliers of sod plug material suggest that you dig small holes or even a trough by hand using a spade and then lay the plugs in. Others suggest using a small plugger that takes out one plug at a time, or even using a drill and an auger bit to drill the holes. All of these methods involve either a lot of bending over, a lot of time, or even both. By using the ProPlugger, we create the exact size hole we need quickly without any bending over. With Zoysia, I like to space my holes about 6 or 7 inches apart. If you want quicker coverage, you can space them closer together, or if you happen to have more patience, you can space them every 10 or 12 inches. Using the same method we did a few minutes ago, step down on the foot pegs until they bottom out, a slight twist of the bars, pull straight up. Once you've pulled a dozen or so, empty the ProPlugger and keep plugging until you've pulled the number of holes that you need. The last step before planting the plugs is to give them a jump start by placing some potting soil in each of the holes. You can get a decent sized bag at your local lawn and garden store for just a few bucks, and it really gives the plugs a head start and helps them spread more quickly. I lightly fill the hole to the top and then gently press the plug in. In this way, the plug is perfectly positioned, level with the ground and with rich soil underneath the roots. Make sure you water the area right after plugging and every morning for the next week or 10 days. I hope this short video has been helpful. Check out ProPlugger.com for other videos on projects made simpler and easier using the ProPlugger, and to order your own. www.ProPlugger.com.